This video is about amortization. So first, we're going to look at what is amortization. This refers to the process of paying off a loan balance over time with equal periodic payments. Periodic payments just means that they happen at regular intervals. It's typically monthly. Several examples of amortization used to pay off loans include home loans, car loans, student loans, credit cards that have a fixed balance, and personal loans. Essentially, any loan that a person has that has an amount that is fixed at the beginning of the loan. Now, this is a little bit different from annuities that you learned about in the last section. So I'm going to highlight this. So with an annuity, you're making periodic payments towards an investment, and that means that the interest on annuities is interest that you're earning. As you continue to make payments on annuity, you earn more and more interest because that amount builds up and it generates interest over time. Now, this is a little different from amortization because in amortization, you're making periodic payments again, but you're making them towards a loan, towards money owed, and you're paying the interest on it. As you continue to pay off the loan, your loan balance gets smaller and smaller, and so more of your money goes towards the principal instead of towards the interest. Now let's take a look at the formulas for these. We're going to revisit the one from the last section and introduce a new one. So here's the formula from last time, the future value of an ordinary annuity. And if you recall, we used this formula to find out how much money we're going to have in our investment after we make periodic payments for a specified amount of time. That's that future value. In the amortization formula, we again make periodic payments, but we use this formula to find out how much our periodic payment is going to be to pay off the loan in the specified time period. So notice here, Y is the periodic payment. Again, typically that would be like your monthly payment. So let's look a little bit more carefully at that formula. And I want you to just kind of take a moment and think about what each of these variables stand for in this context, and maybe take this moment to answer that question on your reading assignment about this formula, the different variables, and what they all stand for. Okay, so we're going to look at an example with this. So let's assume that we have a $20,000 loan with a 5% interest rate, and it will be repaid in 60 equal monthly payments. Our question is, how much is the monthly payment? And what that means is the monthly payment that's needed to retire or pay off the loan in those 60 equal monthly payments or 5 years. So the first thing that we're going to do is figure out what information is given and what variable each one stands for. So our loan amount here is $20,000. We call that L. Our interest rate here is 0.05, but we need to have it as a monthly interest rate, and for that reason we divide by 12. Now you can simplify this calculation here if you like. I'm going to leave it as 0.05 over 12 because we want to keep as many decimal places as we can as we do these calculations for accuracy. And finally, N here, little n is 60, number of periods. In this particular example, we're told that there will be 60 monthly payments total. Another way that that could have been presented would be monthly payments for 5 years' time. Okay, and you'll notice also here that these are color-coded, and that's intentional. Because when we go to put them in the formula, let's check them out. Here is I times L all over 1 minus, big parentheses, 1 over 1 plus, again, I in blue here, raised up to the N. Make sure when you do these calculations that you write this step carefully before doing any arithmetic on it. Once we have that step, we can start to simplify. And we have to be really careful with order of operations here. This number on top, the 83.333, comes from multiplying 0.05 over 12 times 20,000. Pause the video, take a moment, do that yourself. This number on bottom, this 1.28336, comes from taking 1 plus 0.05 over 12, hit equals, then raise to the 60, hit equals again. Again, take a moment and do that calculation yourself. Then we continue to simplify the bottom. You'll see here that I have 0.22079. That comes from 1 over this number, hit equals, then take 1 minus that number. Again, take a moment to verify that yourself. And the final calculation is doing this division, and we find y equals 377.42. We round to the nearest penny because this is a dollar amount. And notice in these calculations, they're all kind of lined up with the equal signs, and you can see what's happening at each step. And this is how you should write your work on these to keep track of the calculations that we have to do. And finally, we want to answer the question that was asked. The question that was asked was, how much is the monthly payment up here? And so we answer that question. The monthly payment is $377.42. Now, a follow-up question on this is, over the life of this loan, over this whole 5 years, how much are we going to pay in interest? A way to figure that out is to take the monthly payments you're going to make, that you made 60 times, and this is the total amount that we'll pay on the loan, principal and interest, over those 60 equal monthly payments for those 5 years. That means you pay $20,000 towards the loan, and you end up having paid $2,645.20 in interest over the life of the loan. One thing to keep in mind is that with amortization, when you begin repaying the loan, the majority of your payment goes towards interest. So you don't pay the same amount in interest every month. As you pay your balance down and it gets smaller and smaller, more and more of that $377 actually goes towards the principal. And so you'll often see visuals like this one here, where at the beginning of your loan, like here's month 1, most of your money is going towards interest. Some of it's going towards principal, that's the amount in green. And as you continue, more and more of the money goes towards your principal. Now, a question that we will investigate is how much of each payment goes towards interest. That actually depends on what month we're in. And to do that, we use an amortization schedule. And an example of that you can find in the next video. Thank you for watching. I look forward to reading your video reading assignments.